it is the solstice. It is actually the 23rd, and it's the morning right before the dawn of the third day of this 3-day period. And I'm gonna record. There's gonna be a bit of lag, unfortunately, but I'm just gonna do my best and plow through this. We're just gonna have to light some of this myrrh and Palo Santo just to kind of consecrate the space. I have no clue how this live stream is going to turn up. I know the video is a bit choppy. Unfortunately, that's the best we can do right now. But there's some Palo Santo. I love Palo Santo. It's just amazing. So what this whole meal is about is to consecrate the year. What I do is actually have a 12-dish meal every year at this time, and that's like more of a tradition, honoring the year. And I know there are other cultures that do that too, but basically this is what I do. And there's 12 months and 12 basically guardians of each month, and 12 constellations, and 12 tribes and all that stuff. So it's very cool because it's all integral, and it's all this fractal that is part and parcel of itself, really. So it's amazing once the universe comes alive with this symbology, when all this symbology comes alive. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to get started right away and start by reading the oracles. So what we got here, just going to move the microphone a bit closer. Okay, so the oracle is about the solstice and how to commemorate it. And I'm not saying that everybody should do this, but this is what came through me and how I celebrate it. And the oracle says nothing about 12 dishes, but that's something I do, and I'm just sharing it with everybody because, hey, vegan dishes, it's something I think everybody should know about because it's really great to raise your vibration to this level. So, oracle says, and by the way, the name of this period is in the name of the oracle. The oracle calls it Zerhain, so that's what we're gonna call it here. So Zerhain is the blessing and dedication of yet another cycle. Let the festival last for 3 days, the last day of the previous month and the first 2 days of the first month, for this is the time of the winter solstice, the time of renewal and silence, marked by the sun's retreat during his weakest time. Commemorate it with the drinking of visionary teas and the select of the chosen, consulting the wheel of oracle. On the third day of Ashvar, which is the first month, following the last day of Zerhain, which is literally today, this morning, rejoice in Surlya and eat the meal before daybreak. Let everyone proclaim love and light to their neighbor. But we're eating it pretty early right now. This is not right before sunset because I got quite a bit of food here, and I'm probably not gonna, most likely I'm not going to be able to get through all of it, but we have a lot of food, and the sunrise is still a ways away, but we're still going to do this early. And if we finish early, we're still going to celebrate the sunrise no matter what. So we're going to start. I'm just going to change the camera, and we're going to get started with our first dish right away. Alright, so this is a persimmon, and this is just an appetizer to get the meal started, because this doesn't really count as one of the dishes, but I'm going to have a bit of this, a few pieces of this, just to get started and see how that is. The thing with these is you have to eat them when they're ripe. You have to eat them when they're ripe, otherwise they're extremely caustic and it can cause some really really bad mouthfeel after eating it. It's actually really good. It's a really good one, and it's ripe, so you know it's sweet. It's not like burning your mouth off, which is good. Might want to watch out for seeds sometimes, but for the most part, these don't have seeds when they pick them, so you don't get seeds when you're eating them. That's the only thing about commercial fruit, is that it's picked when it's still raw, and you're not really getting ripe fruit. Some fruit is, because it doesn't ripen afterwards, but most of commercial fruit is picked raw, and it just is not as alkaline as it would be normally. Alright, we're gonna move on, but now we're gonna go to our first dish. Now, this is some potato and barley soup with cabbage stock, and it's a very, very simple soup, because especially like right now we're in lockdown and it's difficult to come up with a lot of ingredients. Normally around this time, I love to go crazy with my recipes. I actually have another channel where I make all these recipes, and all the recipes I have here are basically on the other channel, and I go crazy with recipes, but this year I had to tone it down a bit. And one of the dishes is this, and it's very modest. It's just barley and potatoes with some cabbage stock and some other flavors, but that's basically it. But when you're on a budget, it's a good ingredients for a base without getting too complicated. Not getting into any kind of spices or seasonings and stuff. You don't need that much. Cabbage stock is good, and then just some base. This is simple, but this is not my typical dish, alright? There's some bits of cabbage in here, which I don't normally like. You might want to cut that up a bit better, but like I said, this is just something very simple. Just to get the meal started, you know? But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to be sampling all these dishes. And then, just so that I share it all with you guys. And then after that, I'm going to end the stream and then finish up here, hopefully before the dawn. We still have time, but we'll see how it goes. I do have a lot to get through, so I'm going to keep moving. Alright, now this is a Greek salad, vegan of course, so instead of any feta cheese I used a hemp seed base, and just with olives and peppers and tomatoes, you know, I believe there's cucumber in here as well, but yeah, very simple salad and very easy. This is very easy. But one thing I love about the Greek salads, particularly, are the olives. I just love the olives, but of course you can't have too many, because I always think like, oh, I like the olives, but then there's been a couple times when I've overdone it, and you just regret it then. So I do believe that the live stream is working. Yeah, it keeps buffering, right? But you know what, guys, I'm gonna re-record this. Like, I'm recording it right now, and I'm gonna re-upload it. I'm gonna edit it and re-upload it, so it'll be a lot better. Like, highlights of this, because like it's already been. If it's buffering too much, don't torture yourself. I'll be re-uploading it anyway. But I'm just sharing these dishes with y'all, and also the idea of just that on the third day after the solstice, eat a meal before dawn. I don't know. That's what I do. And I keep it like 12 dishes because I commemorate the constellations, but this is in no means saying that anybody else should have to do this. Now this is other soup, and it's split peas with sweet potato, and I also have some garden carrots in here, but I don't know if they kind of, I pressure cook them so they get really soft, and then they get like little bits, but yeah, you can see kind of bits of carrots in here. But yeah, split peas, and I use like paprika, and I actually have a 9-spice blend that I use to flavor this, which I've been using a lot, and I use kind of variations of it for my other recipes too. But this is, yeah, split pea soup with sweet potatoes and carrots, and it's amazing stuff. I love this stuff. This is a really good one. And all these recipes are on my other channel where I just post my recipes. So I'll link that in the description. But hopefully this will work out. This is amazing. I could just eat this, but I'm gonna have to move on. I'm just gonna enjoy a bit more of this. All of these dishes literally correspond to each of the months. So I would like go over them, but it's not really necessary. And if you aren't familiar with the constellations, like I could say like Capricorn and stuff, but the way I see it, it's a modern syncretism between tropical and sidereal because of what's the word, precessional shift. So because of that, the constellations have shifted in relationship to the tropical zodiac. So because of that, new months have I kind of understand it in terms of new months. That's why I'm not explaining each month, but each of these dishes correspond to a month and like a guardian of nature, I guess you could say. So this corresponds to the guardian of ice in Aquarius, but that's not really relevant. What's relevant is that these are vegan dishes, and that's the best way to start raising your vibration. One of the best ways, okay? But you gotta do what's right for you. And this really, really, really worked for me, and that's why I'm sharing it. So, I could just eat this, but I gotta move on. So this is potato salad. Potato salad with apples and, of course, lettuce and walnuts and peas and a mayonnaise sauce. This is basically like Waldorf salad. The only thing is I didn't have grapes, but it's really cool. And I love this salad with potatoes and apples. Give me some apple. And the mayonnaise sauce is vegan, and it's got mustard, like ground up mustard seeds, so like authentic mustard with pepper, and that's it. But it's amazing. I did put some currants in here to simulate the idea of raisins or grapes, but the whole point of grapes was to honestly, I like the apples way more, and I don't really like finding grapes in here, so I guess it worked out. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but this year I just said, you know what, I want to share this meal with everybody, and I'm going to do it in a way that's feasible and that's practical. So I had to make do, and I think I did pretty well here, to be honest. This is a really great potato salad, and it's got walnuts, and peas, and like I said, apple. I love the apple. You know what? I'm probably using the wrong utensils for this right now. That's okay. I have a feeling this is the way things are going to go as we move forward into the new era. We're going to start doing things more in line with nature, and the biggest part of nature is the cycle of the year, and the spring and the harvest, and the way the sun goes through the solstice and comes back again. So I think we're going to have to start living our lives in accordance with that year and not the Gregorian year. Alright, I'm going to have to move on. Now, this is some okra in some dal, or lentils, which is a traditional Indian meal or dish. I normally don't cook like this, and this is not normally my favorite stuff. A lot of people like Indian food. For me, it is what it is. I was raised eating Indian food, so it's nothing too special. But yeah, this is also some really good stuff, though. The dal is seasoned with turmeric and some mustard seeds. And then I fried the okra separately, and then I added that later at the end with some fenugreek seeds. It's actually really good and easy recipe, because all you gotta do, just boil the lentils for like 15-20 minutes. They get really soft, and in the meantime you're frying the okra. Once it's like lightly brown, just mix it together in the pot and you're good to go. You normally eat this on some rice or something, or with like a naan or chapati or something, roti, right? But because I'm eating 12 dishes here, so actually 12 dishes plus one to open and one to close. So technically I'm eating not 12, 13, 14, 15, but that's beside the point. I'm just sharing how you can have so many vegan dishes, plus eat the meal before dawn. Eat the meal before dawn after the solstice, because we're moving into the new year. The new year has already dawned. It's already begun. But we eat the meal before the dawn to commemorate that it's still in that birthing phase. This is really good and I want to keep eating it. But yeah, I'm going to have to keep moving on. For the sake of time. And then when I'm done this, I'm going to come back and eat it all. I know it's a lot of food, but I also didn't eat yesterday in anticipation of this meal, so I am hungry. Alright, we gotta move on. This is mashed potatoes. I know, big deal, but with like an onion gravy sauce and peas. And it's vegan with vegan mayonnaise and all this good stuff. But yeah. Now, how is it that something as simple as mashed potatoes is always so amazing? All you do is mash the potatoes, and I just put some mayonnaise with salt, pepper, and oh yeah, coconut milk. But that's it. You just mash it up, and my goodness. And I don't even need like the gravy for this. But the gravy is amazing too. And gravy is just onion and flour, like oat flour. Oh, with nutritional yeast to give it that cheesiness. So you don't need cheese. Cheese comes with a lot of baggage in it. Let's just say hormones and other stuff. I don't need to go into the graphic details about that. That's not what I'm about. But it's better to have it clean. That's my message. It's better to have it clean. And this is a really good meal. I'm gonna have to keep moving on, but so we're gonna move on. I gotta turn my heater off. So these are chickpeas with tomato sauce. It's similar to the base. Well, it's paprika base. It's not similar. It's just paprika with caraway seeds. And it's actually with mushrooms and a black bean water. I use the water from black beans, which I also use to make my chili, which you guys will be seeing in a bit here. And like I said, everything here is vegan. These are just chickpeas, so of course these are vegan with some shiitake mushrooms. And I do have some visionary tea. I have it right here. So yes, this is a very, very powerful time to do inner work. I'm not gonna go into details about that because I just want to keep this video about the food, but very, very, very powerful. Guys, if you're being called to do inner work, if you're being called to do any sort of whatever spiritual work, call it whatever you want, but that takes precedent at this time, and every time, but at this time, at the Solstice 2020, it really is most critical. We're going to move on pretty quick here to the next dish. This is tomato quinoa, and it's similar to the chickpea dish, except without mushrooms, and it's stewed a bit differently. I put dill in this instead of that one. Has like marjoram and bay leaves, but this is very simple to make, and same with the chickpeas. It's very simple. You just stew some tomatoes with some spices and then plop the beans or quinoa in. For this, you got to steam it for about half an hour and you're good. Nice and fluffy. Very easy. Very easy. This is great. This is like a very good base to cook with anything, and quinoa is really good to cook as a base in general, but with tomatoes and just a bit of spices, it just makes it so much better. I would actually even add mushrooms or something to it just to make it a bit more interesting, but just the way it is right now is really good. If I was to eat it as the side with something else, it would be more than enough. But just by itself, it's almost perfect. Like I said, I would just add maybe mushrooms or something small. Very, very like simple. But it's great just the way it is. Tomatoes and paprika go a long way. I could keep eating this. You can definitely tell which dishes are way better than others, but sometimes you'd be shocked. It's the very simple ones that are the best. Like I said, the pea soup and this and the Greek salad, some of them are like amazing. I don't want to call them out because I don't want to say the others aren't as good. I could keep eating this, but I'm going to have to move on. This is the chili. This is the chili. And it is amazing. Kidney beans and black beans in tomato sauce with the nutritional yeast and TVP. You can't even tell that it's not like ground beef. It literally is like ground beef, but it's TVP, so no death involved. If I had some French bread or some garlic toast, but I'm keeping it simple with 12 dishes, or actually 15, but 13 dishes. And it's an Italian seasoning with like oregano, thyme, basil, rosemary, sage, bay. I used a bit of fennel in there too. I go crazy with the recipes. I love going crazy, but you don't have to always go crazy. Sometimes you can have a really simple recipe like that quinoa and have it really taste really good. But I love this one just as much. And instead of cheese, just sprinkle it with nutritional yeast. It gives the same effect. It's healthier, and plus you're not getting the, like I said, hormones and other stuff. Let's not go there. This would have gone even better if I put mushrooms in it, but I didn't. Some people like corn, I don't. But that's because I had a bad experience with corn once. My aunt dumped a can of canned corn into a soup I made once. That was a huge disappointment when I came home from work the next day. And so I'm not really a fan of the corn. But I don't know, mushrooms would have been pretty good. Or green pepper. But I put red pepper in here too, so that's okay. It's really good too. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's bits in there. Those are the TVP. And when you're chewing it, it feels just like ground beef would feel. But I haven't eaten ground beef in over, was it 2020? So like almost 7 years. So, you know what? I haven't eaten ground beef in over 7 years. But I haven't eaten any animal products in about 7 years. So it's great. It's just that I've noticed a correlation with people that do this and people that are more in tune and more sensitive, and who are able to discern things better, and who are maybe able to manifest things better. I don't know. So I'm just sharing the knowledge. I'm just sharing the experience because I think we can all benefit from it, you know? I'm going to have to keep moving on. And then, yeah. Well, if there's time, I'll keep going, but otherwise, I just... Now, this is vegan sausage with some sauerkraut. I actually have 3 types of sauerkraut here. I have 2 of my own kind. One is just plain cabbage. One has carrots in it with the cabbage. And the other one is one batch that my mom made, and she brought over a bottle, so that's in there too. So I got a bunch of sauerkraut. Thankfully, I love it. So I'm going to try some. Actually, no, I'm going to try some of my mom's. pretty good. Pretty good. I like it. I like it. It's really good. It's nice and sour. Really well made. I think this is the first time my mom's made it too. And I just recently posted a recipe for this on my channel. And it's so easy to make and I love it. I'm going to try some of the sausage. This is Italian sausage. It didn't cut very well. This time, it's a bit soft. I didn't use enough binding material, but the other recipes are really good. It's hard to get the right consistency sometimes when it bakes, but last time I had a really nice consistency and it was almost like a ham, cutting through a ham. This time it didn't turn out so well. I'm gonna have to keep moving on. Now this is Alfredo Pasta. Vegan once again. Where is it? Here we go. Now the thing is, because it's vegan, I used cashews and coconut milk, like ground up cashews, for the sauce in onion sauce with nutritional yeast. Sprinkle some nutritional yeast on top extra, and some dill and some nice herbs. And for meat, I used bits of the sausage and seitan. That's what the sausage is called. And it's great because it's got the tanginess. I put a bit of lemon in it. And the cheesiness from the nutritional yeast. Bits of the sausage, vegan sausage. Oh. A bit of flavor from some onion. Now this is another dish I could just keep eating. I'm going to eat a bit and keep moving on. I'm starting to get a bit full here, but there's a lot I got to work through. We still got a ways for the morning, so. This is really an amazing dish. There's a bit of work that goes into it with the cashews and grinding them up. Like, I tried soaking them and it didn't work that well, so that was a bit of waste of time. Just grind them up dry, put some coconut milk or some vegan milk, because, hey, let's face it, we're doing this because we're vegan, and nutritional yeast and a bit of lemon, salt, pepper if you want, and onion. Like, I fried some onion and ground that up as well. Really good. I'm gonna have to keep moving on, and then I'll come back to this if we have time. But right now, we're on to our 12th official dish, if you don't count the persimmons. So we're almost done. But this is black bean pudding. It's actually black beans, black lentils, and black rice. But it's amazing. And here I've got some coconut milk with some, it's sweetened with maple syrup, and it's got some cinnamon and stuff, and rose petals. So we're going to use a bit of that, pour that on there. Now, make sure that's clean. These dishes are all symbolic, and they all follow the year and each month of the year, and they represent each. And this is dark, and it represents the second last, or actually the last month of the year. The very last 13th meal represents the transitional days of 7 days right before the solstice. But this is amazing with almonds, and it's seasoned with cinnamon and all kinds of like star anise and juniper, and I even put like cocoa nibs in here, sweetened with dates and maple syrup, and with the coconut milk. Oh man. And it's bean pudding. It's beans, and you cook them till they're really soft and just sweeten them. So beans don't have to be like savory or, you know, your typical stew or whatever. Man, you can have some desserts with beans. Now think about it, or I'm just doing this to show you guys all these dishes, but I'm gonna come back and eat this, and I'm mixing dessert, and I'm mixing, normally I don't mix dishes. Today I'm mixing 12, and I'm mixing them way out of order. So it's gonna be a fun, interesting day. Plus, this evening, I do believe my brother is coming over for dinner if he doesn't change the date or something. He's super busy. He likes to be busy. I'm busy too, but hey, I'm at home doing work like this, sharing this kind of work with y'all, because that's where my heart is, with this kind of information. So that's why I'm devoting myself to this kind of work right now, because this is what's very, very important. Basically, all this food is living food. And I can go into like fruit and like you want to be raw and alkaline and stuff. I'm like, hey, all that is good if that's the level you're at, but veganism is a baseline. People just got to realize, hey, we got to stop doing this crazy stuff. You know, if you want to raise your vibration higher than that, like I do that. But I'm not imposing that. What I'm saying is we got to stop killing and doing stuff like that. That is what my message is here. So yeah. But this is righteous. I love this. I gotta keep moving on. We're almost done, but we'll just keep moving on. And it's really dense, so you don't have to eat a whole lot of this one to feel full. But it's one of those dishes that is so good that once you start eating it, you can just keep eating it. So just what is full? Well, now we have a stuffed apple with some peanut butter, and I stuff it with dates and a bit of walnuts and some currants, and the spices I used is like cinnamon and saffron with a clove and some really interesting. Normally I would use like pears for this, Bosch pears. The Bosch pears are the best pears, and that's what I would normally use for this recipe, but because of lockdown, the best I had were these Gala apples, which, well, it doesn't hold up as well as the pears, but, well, it's pretty good. It still tastes really good. Tastes really good. Peanut butter. Oh. I'm going to keep this here just so that it's out of the way. These meals, these dishes are actually in a very specific order to facilitate good digestion. And a lot of these many multi-course meals are ordered that way, and you start with soup and then you work your way through like different courses and such. I planned it that way, but not only that, these meals, these dishes actually correspond with each of the constellations and the months of the year. So it's very symbolic, and eating it at the solstice is very symbolic. At the dawn after the third day is very symbolic, so. With some peanut butter. This takes a bit of work, but sometimes when I just want a snack, I just have like an apple, cut it up with some peanut butter. That's all you need. Maybe that's all you need. Oh, found a clove. Yeah, still some time till the sunrise, but we're gonna celebrate the sunrise anyway on the live stream, and then I might continue it, or I might just close it and then pig out, because can't really talk and eat all this food at once. But this is really good. I love it. Apples and peanut butter. Apples and peanut butter. And this is like technically the last dish. This symbolizes the last transitional days, right before the solstice. I'm going to take a break now from this and move on to these water chestnuts. We don't need too many, but just something to close the meal off with. This one is a bit difficult to open. That's the only thing with these, is opening them, but I got it. There we go. And I got my beloved scooper spoon, whatever you call it, I don't know, but yeah, love it. Water chestnuts. And apparently these aren't even nuts. These are like some kind of marsh weed. And they're like the tubers that grow from the marsh weed. I don't know. Normally I wouldn't suggest Wikipedia as a source, but I guess in this case it kind of works out. Some of these are scored, not all of them are, and it's easier when they're scored. You can just kind of squeeze them open, but if you get them right, sometimes it makes a mess if they're scored the wrong way. So I used to score them down the lengthwise, but that used to cause more problems in opening them. It's easier when you eat them, but it's harder when you open them. So I guess it takes a bit of skill to work these bad boys, but we do our best. In the meantime, that's good. And I'm going to wish everybody an amazing year, because the year ahead is amazing. I've seen it. I know a lot of people are talking, saying they don't know what's going on. They don't know how things are going to move and like the future. But I've seen it. I've seen it. So just relax and stay the course, stay optimistic, because 2021 is going to be amazing. Alright? Stay the course. We got this. We're creating a new world. Alright? So happy solstice. Agape. Salam. Namaste.